Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of August 10th, 2014. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, the week starts with a full moon taking place in the sign of Aquarius. Now, I actually spoke about this full moon at length for almost all signs, depending on how important it would have been for your particular sign in the August monthly horoscope. So I would encourage you, if you haven't seen them already, to watch them. If you've seen them, maybe watch them again, because that's going to give you a clearer understanding of some of the lessons, opportunities that we are likely to experience as this full moon hits. Now, this particular full moon is speaking in harmony with Uranus, is standing across the sky from Mercury, and is speaking in a type of conversation with Saturn that astrologers call a square. And this is a conversation of tension, but motivation and action as well. And to me, when I look at this, I mean, this to me has reality check written all over it. I spoke about this again in some of the monthly horoscopes. In at least one area of life, all of us are having to look at things as they actually are. And it's likely because of a conversation with another person. It's likely a one-on-one interaction where we see ourselves, we see what we're projecting, we see who this other person is, but also we see the reality of our circumstance. And where we like it, that's great. Where we don't, we'll be inspired to change. And ultimately, Uranus is speaking in harmony with this particular full moon, which tells me the changes that come about are ones that feel right, that feel like it is about time. With Saturn speaking with this full moon, I do think that some of the issues that arise for people actually are going to be those that have been a long time coming, sort of simmering under the surface, or issues that have been around but haven't really fully been dealt with, situations maybe that have been dragging on. Now it's time to make a choice. Now it's decision time. And what I really like about this particular full moon is the fact that it is in the sign of Aquarius. The modern ruling planet of Aquarius is Uranus. The ancient ruling planet is Saturn. Both of these planets are speaking with this full moon, which just adds to the importance of this time. And because Mercury is standing across the sky, when planets stand across from the sky from each other, they tend to play themselves out in interactions with other people, because that's where we project the most. And also other people are reflections to what's happening within us. And I do think that it's going to be conversations rather spontaneous in some cases that really are going to provide us with the motivation and the keys to make some important changes. But at the same time, we are looking at what actually is. And it is from that place that we're able to make the most meaningful changes, by being truly honest with ourselves about where we are and where it is we hope to go, and to take some action that moves us in a more positive direction. Really important full moon, I think, for a lot of people out there, which is why I did focus on it for a lot of the different monthly horoscopes, for a lot of different signs out there. What we also have happening a little bit later in the week is that Venus is going to move into the sign of Leo. This I love. I love this because Jupiter's already there. Mercury and the Sun are there as well. Now, I do think late last week we had Mercury and the Sun meet, and I spoke about this in last week's horoscope. Mercury and the Sun met. They spoke with Uranus. They spoke with Saturn as well. That energy carries and culminates with the full moon. And then we get to Venus moving into the sign of Leo. And with Mercury and the Sun already there, to me, I think this just suggests that it's time to welcome in some blessings. It's time for some nice energy to come in where maybe the energy felt a little tense, or maybe the energy felt a little bit consequential, felt heavy even. Now is a time when some softer, nicer, more pleasant, more believing kind of energy comes in. Now, the thing with Venus is, wherever Venus goes is a place where we're encouraged to receive and to believe we are worthy to receive. I've shared before, when you look at a lot of the paintings, especially from the Renaissance, when I look at paintings from the Renaissance, Venus is often shown sort of laying on her back, and she's just letting good things come to her, like, you know, she's being fed grapes that are peeled, and, you know, she's attracting all these wonderful people into her life. it's not that she's actively doing anything. It's just that the blessings are coming to her. The nice things are coming to her. So this is an opportunity to welcome in this energy where it may have felt a little heavier last week. What's also taking place in the later part of the week that I really like is that Mars is going to speak in harmony with Pluto. And I really like this energy a lot personally because it is an energy of change. It's an energy of understanding what needs to transform at the core, understanding the root of the problem and taking action to fix it, understanding how to most be effective, how to be an effective agent of change, and how to be a more effective agent in your own life to move your life where it is that you want to go and make those changes that really are going to have a profound effect now and for the longer term future as well. And so I really do like this energy. And right around the same time, Mercury will change signs. Mercury will move into the sign of Virgo. And so this should bring about another shift of energy as well. So I look at this week as a whole, and I do think that with Mercury going into, like, sort of coming home, if you will, because Mercury is the ruling planet of the sign of Gemini, but also the sign of Virgo as well. Mercury coming home to me does suggest a certain lift in that energy, if you will, but also the qualities of really being able to analyze and look at a thing very deeply, to appreciate the various layers of a thing, of a matter, of a conversation. All of that is going to be emphasized. And it's just in time for this conversation with Mars and Pluto, which really is also about seeing to the root of the thing as well, which tells me that by the time we get towards the end of the week, a lot of us are looking at things in terms of their substance and looking at what it is that we need to do, who it is we need to talk to as well, what it is that needs to be said that is going to end up being the most effective in terms of making changes that we desire the most. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. If you want to click ahead to your sign, please feel free to click on the timestamp next to your sign in the YouTube description. I'm truly so grateful for your comments, your interactions, your shares. Thank you so much for that. And also for your questions, because I have been releasing videos recently with the new moon that took place a couple of weeks back. I released some further North Node videos transiting and planets conjunct the North Nodes in the natal chart as well. And thank you so much for the very kind feedback on that. What I also have happening now on my website, it's a joint collaboration with me and Symbolic Living. Us together are writing some daily astrological notes, astrological inspirations exclusively for my website. So please do come online to nadiyashah.com or astrofabulous.com and have a look at that. And I so look forward to your feedback and to your insights, your questions as well. If you have questions that are more personal, you'd like me to have a look at your chart, please do consider personalized horoscopes. But as always, I do believe that just you being here in this moment, watching this video, really does mean so much to me. I think it adds so much in terms of just, for me, in terms of understanding the love that you give and the love that you receive, and also in terms of just receiving the omen that I hope that this is for you, that helps you in your own personal journey to move yourself towards greater love and greater wisdom, and I hope the collective as a result as well. So how all this speaks to you in your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. Well, this particular full moon is speaking to friendships. So friendships are really highlighted for you this week at this time. And it does look like you are likely to have some interactions with some friends that go incredibly well, that just open you on a level of heart and mind. But the thing is, what I'm also seeing is interactions with friends, conversations with friends that really make you have to look at things really honestly about where you are. It's sort of like a bitter pill of truth, but I don't see it directly related to the friendship per se. I see it more has to do with some element of your life that you're finally able to be honest about, thanks to a conversation with a friend. Very likely related to either your happiness. What is it really that's going to make you happy? Getting in touch with that. related to matters of children as well. If you have children or you're hoping to have children, this could be a time when you really come to understand what it is that you can do to help yourself in that process to be a more effective parent or to become a parent. And the other thing as well, when I look at this, it also has to do with love as well. And so there is a bit of a reality check where it comes to love thanks to a friend, but it ends up helping you tremendously. It ends up spurring you on to come to a clearer understanding of just what you need where it comes to aligning yourself with another person romantically and what you need in romance as well. All in all, the universe is moving you towards, yes, greater love, yes, greater wisdom, but greater friendship as well. Allow people to show you who they are, and when they show you who they are, believe them, as was said by Maya Angelou. Really the best advice that you're going to get this week. And I do think that your experiences this week are going to demonstrate this to you very clearly. Hello, fabulous Taurus. Well, your ruling planet moves into the sign of Leo, into a part of the sky for you that has to do with home, that has to do with foundations, that has to do with an understanding as to what ground you're standing in and what you need to feel safe and secure with yourself and in your environment, of course, your actual home environment, but also what you need to feel more at home in your own body and in your own skin with yourself. Really highlighted and very important for you now. And this isn't a superficial matter, far from it. This is really getting to the core and to the substance. This is understanding what you need on a level of heart and spirit and what it means to really honor what that would be for you as well, what your instinct and intuition is telling you you need to feel safe and secure and to feel more comfortable with you in the world and with you in terms of who you are as well. So there's a tremendous amount of energy here that has to do with self-acceptance, which is so great. There's energy here that has to do with an expansion of understanding that you actually are a lot more loved in one hand, but more than that, I think of this as energy that has to do with protection. This has to do with energy of understanding that there is a certain safety that you can provide to yourself in your own heart. And from that place, it makes it a lot easier for you to share in the world in bigger ways and brighter ways as well. And so I do think that there are a lot of different elements playing out here that suggest to me you certainly are being asked to lift yourself in higher and higher ways and more meaningful ways as well. And ultimately, it's all meant to bring you back to yourself. This is also going to begin a time where you're likely to start beautifying your home. And I think that efforts you make to redecorate, to make your home a place that's more beautiful to you, are likely to go off very well. Hello, fabulous Gemini. Well, your ruling planet moves into the sign of Virgo. And this particular area of the sky, it's like you also, your ruling planet is Mercury, but as I said in the introduction, Mercury is the co-ruler of the sign of Virgo as well. So it's like fellow home of your ruling planet. And it is an area of home as well for you. And with this emphasis on home, really what it comes down to is having talks, lots of conversations, but also lots of busyness where it comes to home. I do think that this is a time, if there have been any sort of issues about any repairs that need to happen, any things that need to be purchased, whether little things, this is a time when you start having those conversations to make that happen. And this conversation will be taking place over the coming weeks as well as Mercury moves through this part of the sky. But what also I see as part of this is just having lots more conversations with family members, more than usual. Finding yourself chatting with them more than usual. And I do think all of this is going to come together in a really beautiful way for you in that it's really going to help you understand on a level of mind, but also on a level of perspective, to see the perspective of other people. Now, this can be really powerful if there's any kind of, however slight forgiveness that needs to happen. This can end up being really powerful in that regard, just because you get that perspective, just because you get to see the world from somebody else's eyes, and you get to consider what it was like to be that person in that experience that either you shared with them or they went through as well. giving you this whole other level of knowledge and a whole other level of appreciation. Ultimately, this is about connecting, right? Mercury, your planet, really has a strong element of connecting, but also understanding as well. And when I see that Mercury's moving through this part of the sky, it says to me that you're looking at your past, you're being encouraged to see it differently, you're being encouraged to see your family differently as well, to reach out, to connect, to talk, but also where it comes to just matters of home as well, you're being encouraged to look at where you live and whatever little refinements need to make. Now, these aren't aesthetic refinements necessarily, but if there have been any sort of little things that need repairs, little matters that need agreements, you know, you finally decide, okay, we're going to finish that wall or whatever the case may be. This is the time that you actually start to take those actions to move yourself in that direction, doing the little things you know you need to do to make your home feel like a place that is a little bit more stable, a little bit more secure, and it feels a little bit more like home to you. Hello, fabulous Cancer. Well, this week we do have Venus leaving your sign in the middle of the week, pretty early on in the week. And so as the week begins and we've got this full moon taking place, and especially for you because the moon is sort of your ruling, the moon isn't a planet, it's a luminary. So it's your ruling luminary, if you will. Because the moon is so important, it does look like emotions are really heightened, and it's right at a time when Venus is at the very late degrees of your sign. So what does that mean? The degrees that take place ultimately, and I will be creating a video that explains this specifically, but the later part of a sign, each sign is divided into 30 parts, essentially, called degrees. The later part of your sign is sort of a culmination point where the energy is most potent. And so you've got Venus in this very potent energy in your sign at the same time that this very important full moon is taking place. And I put this together, and it suggests very strongly that for you, you really are getting, on the one hand, honest with yourself, yes, because this full moon is in a part of the sky that has to do with personal honesty. It has to do with examining things very deeply, looking at yourself very deeply as well. But there's also an element here at play that has to do with you sort of really looking at love and what you really want in love. In a very acute way. It's almost like there's an element of urgency here where it comes to love, where you're finally ready to admit to yourself what you want. You're finally ready to admit how you feel about another person. You're finally ready to make that change. You're finally ready to approach your spouse about a long-standing matter in order to really affect some meaningful change. And especially if it has to do with a spouse, then it might be even a financial matter that you've been waiting on for the right time. Well, this is the time when you finally get there, where you say, okay, we've got to actually talk about this. I've got to come to you with this. And so it is really early in the week where I see the emotion really heightened for you in a very strong way. By the time we move you later in the week and Mars is speaking in harmony with Pluto in your opposite sign, it looks like there is a sense of an action plan of how to move forward where it comes to your spouse, if you are in an established bond. If not, where it comes to romance and partnership in general, there is also an appreciation, okay, you've made the right decisions, you've come to the right conclusions, and there's a certain comfort with that and a certain power with knowing that you did what it was ultimately that you felt was true to you, that you honored your intuition, that you shared, that you said, that you made the changes that you need to, that really are honoring of the person you are and what your truth is. Hello, fabulous Leo. Well, this week Venus moves into your sign. I would have spoken about this in the August monthly horoscopes because it really is that important, and it's a really important love week for you. So I would encourage you to watch the love-focused horoscope for your sign. But through it all, okay, there's lots happening because there's a full moon in your opposite sign, Venus moving through your sign. But at the end of the day, yes, I talk a lot about the love video. Those themes are really going to be highlighted. However, this week, what I do want you to focus on is the fact that with Venus moving through your sign, ultimately, this is a really nice placement. Ultimately, this is making you feel good. This is about you understanding and welcoming and being open to love in a nicer way, in a way where you know that you actually deserve it. And there's a softness here and a beauty here in terms of really opening yourself up, whether it's to other people or whether it's in your established bond as well. But really, it is ultimately about opening yourself up to your own worthiness, to understand that you are worth receiving love. You are worth your own care, your own appreciation, recognizing your own beauty from the inside out. That is an energy that's really emphasized now. Mercury is going to leave your sign as well. And so it looks like by the time we get you to the end of the week and into next week, matters of work and financial talks are happening. Some negotiations may start to happen as well for you. And that is something that you're going to have to roll with, okay? And I'll certainly be here to talk more about that in the weeks ahead as Mercury has key conversations with other power players in the sky. But for now, no, it does look like by the time we get you to the end of the week, you may hear something sort of in the wind, or a message may come through that tells you of a financial opportunity or possibility, or maybe even a new project or something that you're going to have to start working on that is going to end up getting more of your attention. But ultimately, it does seem like it is just it isn't necessarily like a distraction, because I don't want it to seem like I think lots is going to be happening in love that you like very much. But at the same time, what I do like about it is it diverts your energy so that it comes to you. And the energy comes to you and your own things that you need to do in order to feel a sense of empowerment in your life, and especially financial awareness, which is a type of empowerment as well, that opportunity starts to set in for you later on this week. Hello, fabulous Virgo. Well, your ruling planet is coming home. This is so important. It is so huge. It is a time when really it's like the best of you seems to come together. And I do think that there's an element here that has to do with a brightness, with an awareness. We did have, and we have been having a lot of energy taking place in the sign just before yours. That's not always the easiest energy to deal with, because it's energy that has to do with the unconscious, energy that has to do with the dream space, energy has to do with what's happening underneath the surface, not always to your awareness, energy that asks you to have faith. However, now as Mercury moves into your sign, slowly but surely the energy is going to start growing in your sign. So it starts with Mercury a little bit later on this month. The sun will enter your sign. You'll enter your birthday month. And then later on, a few weeks from now, we're going to have Venus enter your sign. So all of this together suggests to me that you are now at the beginning of a process where things start to feel like they're coming together nicely for you, where you understand something about yourself more deeply. You understand something that's important to you. You understand something that matters to you. And what I really like about the fact that Mercury, your ruling planet, will be moving into your sign is that you come to a deeper appreciation. You come to a deeper understanding that actually you're quite smart, and actually you do understand things in a very perceptive way, in a very unique way. You have a way of really breaking things down and having an analysis of them that is truly your own, but still very valid as well. And so I do think that ultimately when I look at this, this is about understanding. This is about finally saying what it is that you need to say, finally seeing things from the different perspectives you need to see them from, so that you can feel that a sense of yourself is returned. And ultimately that means a sense of peace as well, a sense of contentment as well, a sense of feeling like the best of you is able to come forward and is able to be shared a lot more naturally. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we have the real opportunity for you to experience what it means to feel love from friends. Now, this could be romantic love, or this could just be a lot of fun and a lot of good times, maybe a little bit too much as well. And this is really because Venus, your ruling planet, is moving into a very harmonious position that ultimately has to do with knowing that you have connections, knowing that there are people out there who've got your back, who are looking out for you. I particularly really like this for you because there's an element here of you being lifted and empowered by this all. And Venus moving into this particular part of the sky is only going to emphasize the Jupiterian energy already here. And I spoke about this in the Jupiter special horoscope as well. And so really Jupiter is going to be blessing this area of life for the next year. Venus coming in here really suggests that your awareness and the importance of this really becomes highlighted for you now and in the weeks ahead. There is an element here for you where it isn't just as simply, okay, yes, your friendships are really nice, but the same part of the sky has to do with your hopes and your wishes as well. And so I do think all around you're going to be sensing a feeling of empowerment. Now, what I also really like about what's happening this week is we have Mercury moving into the sign just before yours. And Mercury's going to be there for a few weeks before moving into your sign. So this is really a chance for you to become aware of the things that you no longer want to carry into your future. Mercury is awareness, it's perception, it's really seeing things, and it's the act of actually seeing and communicating. And this is your chance to look at those things that maybe you don't always look at and to bring them up a little bit closer to the surface. Now, also with this, the dream space gets a lot more active. So this is a time when you want to start keeping a dream journal. You want to start writing things out, especially because it is in that space, as you get up and you write things out right away, that you're really going to come to understand ultimately what it is that you want to carry consciously, what you want to carry into your future and what you don't. And chances are you're also going to come to understand what it is maybe you've been doing, or even a belief that you have, or something you've been perceiving that ultimately is getting in the way of you fully stepping into who it is that you believe you are. So if there's been anything that you've been doing unconsciously that's been sabotaging, ultimately, right? This is about self-sabotage, your best efforts. It comes to your awareness now so that you can acknowledge it and you can release it. And that in turn is going to allow you to feel like you're really getting ready to step into a new awareness of you, which you certainly are, and you will be more and more in the weeks ahead. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. Well, Mars moving through your sign will be speaking in harmony with Pluto. To me, this is about you empowering yourself, and it's likely to be set off by a conversation. Either it's you that initiates it or it's somebody else, but there is some communication that happens that makes you realize that you're a lot stronger than you realized before. Now, what I also really like about this is that it does look like you're making a decision. Ultimately, this is your ancient ruling planet communicating with your modern ruling planet. You are making a decision. You are making a choice, and then you are acting on it. This type of conversation is harmonious, but it is what astrologers call a sextile. And what that means is, it is a type of conversation where the universe will point the way, the universe will give you keys, as I've explained in previous weeks, but it is you that ultimately decides whether or not you're going to follow it up with action. I think you absolutely will. You're motivated to do just that. And as you do that and you step into that understanding, I do think that you'll be making at least one key change that really is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity or really the awareness that to demonstrate it so far or for a long time, but it does look like there's an element here of things really coming together for you, things really feeling like, yes, this is who I am. This is how I'm supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to act. And this is the change I'm ready to make. And it feels a little bit like it's a long time coming because for many months, Mars, your ancient ruling planet, was moving through the sign just before yours. So it may feel a little bit like it was a long time coming, but now you're at this point. And I do think that you are going to feel really strong by the time the week ends. And the reason you're going to feel really strong is largely going to be because you are going to make a decision and you are going to live true to it. And from that place, you come to understand yourself and what really matters to you and just who you are that much more deeply. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. Well, Venus steps into fellow fire sign Leo this week, and I really like this placement for you because this is really about, if you are open to love, this is about connecting with people who are different, who present you with a different way of looking at the world. Those of you who are already attached in a relationship, this is about you thinking about what next adventure you're going to go on with your partner. What I really like about this placement most is that this ultimately, as I spoke about in the Jupiter special, is a part of the sky that is your part of the sky. It's your house in the sky, if you will. But with Venus here, it adds an element of softness, of allure. It adds an element of, there's blessing energy, yes, there as well. But ultimately, this also adds an element of people coming in to help you to connect with this very important part of you and to help you find something that you can feel enthusiastic about, whether it's your life, whether it's your goals, whether it's the next thing you want to do, the next adventure, the next thing you want to learn. There are people involved in this process, likely a romantic energy involved in this process, and all of this helps to spur you forward, to help march you forward as you come to more fully embrace what it is, the next thing that you really want to do. What is it that's really going to make you happy? What is it that's really going to light you up and give your life juice? Now it is other people that come in to help you see it, but they help you see it in a way that's really soft and really loving as well. Help you see it in a way that helps you see parts of you that really are very lovable. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. Pluto in your sign will be receiving energy from Mars this week. And this tells me that, and likely through a friend, through a friendship, you understand something about who you are and what needs to change within you if you are going to fully be who it is that you believe yourself to be in your very essence. And there's an element here of power that is emphasized because Pluto does have to do with power. The Pluto moving through your sign this decade and into the next really has to do with you getting to the core of what really matters, releasing the superfluous, focusing in on the things that matter to you most, deciding on where you're going to direct your very powerful energy, your will, your emotion, so that it actually counts for something and you make something of it. What I really like about this energy and how it's working out for you does suggest to me that you are coming to a deeper understanding as to where your power is, and it's very likely to be supported by a friend as well. So whereas last week I did see, and I shared with you, last week there were some interesting issues taking place in the realm of friendships as well, where maybe friends were delivering news that wasn't always so easy. This week things are a little bit different. This is the week whereas last week I would say to you, okay, you really don't want to go into any joint financial things that particular week, last week. Well, this week things are changing a little bit. This week you've got more support there. This week, if it feels right to you, if a friend brings you a message or an opportunity or an understanding and it resonates with you, this would be a time when you really want to look at it. You really want to consider it because it looks like it's not about the financial part of it. It's not about the money part of it, but it is about the wealth and how it changes your life and how it adds to a sense of power and how it adds to a sense of you moving powerfully forward and making changes that really matter to you. You certainly are putting on your path, you certainly are putting in your path things to do that truly matter to you and help you to demonstrate who you believe yourself to be at your very best. And friendships are a part of bringing this forward for you now. And as you see what it is within you that you consider your very best, you in turn are redefined as someone a lot more stronger and a lot more influential than you previously thought yourself to be. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. Well, Venus is moving through your opposite sign. I spoke about this in the love-focused horoscopes for your sign. And so I would encourage you to watch that or watch it again because it really is going to be this that adds so much sweetness and light into your life. Now, we already have Jupiter moving through that part of the sign, part of the sky for you through your partnership part of the sky. With Venus there, it's just going to add to your allure and add to the quality of people that enter your life. If you're open to love, if you're not really thinking about partnering up, if you already have an established partnership, this should bring some really lovely moments and some really lovely memories that the two of you can experience together, that the two of you can share together, that ends up being really meaningful to you. What I also really like about this week that is taking place for you is that there is, of course, full moon in your sign. You can't talk about this week without talking about the full moon. I did talk about this at length in the general and love-focused horoscopes for your sign for this month because it really is that important. And I do think that issues especially that felt very acute, especially where it came to whether it was relationships and you really making choices that are much more personal, that go beyond relationships, that go to who you believe you are, what direction you believe you're going in, what do you believe matters. All of that is coming together in a really powerful way for you now. And so I would encourage you and I would suggest to you and recommend to you that you consider what options may be there for you, yes, but at the same time, ultimately, it comes down to knowing what is true for you. That's really what it comes down to when there's a full moon in your sign. The truth is undeniable. You see who you are, you see what got you here, you see who other people are as well, and you really acknowledge where you are and what needs to change, what you need to let go, what has served its purpose. And this in turn empowers you and puts you on a much more purposeful path. What I also really like about this week is ultimately it is freeing. Whatever choice you make, whatever decision you make, there's a place of self-knowledge within you that you're living from. And it looks like you're being spurred forward to be more and more you. And ultimately, whatever choices you make as you start the week, definitely move you towards greater love and greater wisdom as well. But that love element is so highlighted for you now. And I think that if you feel called to end a certain situation, you will find that decision almost immediately rewarded with somebody else coming in, or at least a lot of attention coming in from people who really represent ultimately where it is that you want to go, who represent the next step, the next level of who it is that you are now becoming. And if you are in an established bond, this is going to bring a real emotional shift that ultimately will help you to welcome in greater love as a couple together. Hello, fabulous Pisces. Well, there is a full moon taking place in the sign just before yours. I spoke about this in the August monthly horoscopes. I would encourage you to watch it because it is very important for you because it's sort of your house in the sky, if you will. It's your area of the sky that this full moon is taking place, making it that much more important to you. But what's also happening this week that I really do like for you is the fact that you have Venus moving into the part of the sky that has to do with work, yes, has to do with health as well. It really has to do with daily rituals, daily spaces you frequent. So if you're into the work environment, the workspace, if you have a workplace you go to regularly, that's about to get a lot more fun and a lot sweeter. You're about to enjoy that area a lot more. You already have Jupiter there bringing positive energy now and for the year to come. However, with Venus in there, the awareness of the fun just amps up. And really it becomes that the fun comes to you. The sweetness comes to you. If you're open to love, you may meet somebody through your work. If you are in an established bond, you are going to find that this doesn't tend to play out so much in the established bond, but just that the sweetness of having this person more regularly a part of your life, interweaving more into your life, into your daily experience, becomes that much sweeter as well. But also just the work itself becomes something that you love more. You see the rewards of the work more and more. And that ends up being something that adds to an overall feeling of sparkliness, if you will, that can't help but bring good things your way. Mercury moving through your opposite sign does mean that you are now starting, and eventually in the coming weeks, there'll be more and more energy happening in your opposite sign. So love will continue to take a stronger and stronger focus. So as Mercury moves through your opposite sign, starts this move, I do think that this represents connection and communication with partnerships. So if you are in an established bond, you're talking a lot more by the time the week ends. If you are not, you're connecting with a lot more people online especially, but there are connections taking place, conversations taking place that let you know you have options. Well, I will stop there. Thank you so much to everyone out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.